So the second report by the Truth Commission is really very interesting, very comprehensive, and in a way provocative, and quite well balanced, I would say.
Yes, I find it one of the most balanced report on the Thai political conflict I have ever read.
What particular points that you think stand out?
There are a few points that stand out from this. The first one being this commission calls for a different approach to criminal activities related to this political conflict. It said that the people driven by politics, even though they carry out some criminal activities, they should be treated differently. That's the main point. And the other point maybe is consistent with the government is doing is that the panel recommended relocating political prisoners to somewhere else.
Why? What's the reason?
The panel said that they should not be treated as
Criminals.
criminal or prisoners as such. They should be treated as someone driven by political ideology.
So is what the government is doing, does it fit in with the recommendation?
The government was planning to launch the holding center in the middle of this month, about December 20, whereby about 100 people will be moved there, and 70-80% of them will be richer people.
And also, at the end of the report, the Thaksin's case, the share
concealment
case was raised, and that surprised me, because it's like going back to the roots of the problems of the whole scenario.
Right. If you don't read this report very thoroughly, you will think that this is some kind of report written by the richer people. It was kind of a lie back, and then bite Thaksin by this panel. Actually, at the very end, this commission calls for a review of the share concealment case in 2001.
Yes.
Said actually the word used by the panel is very strong. Said that the share case is the root cause of all the Thai trouble. Yes.
Which means that despite the pro-government sentences in the beginning, towards the end, you see that the panel really says that, Thaksin is really the root cause of the thing.
Right, and it's even go into the details of the verdict of the Constitutional Court.
Yes, I noticed that. That is very significant.
That acquit Thaksin.
There are two judges. The opinions of two judges were not related to the substance of the case.
Right. Basically, about a number of judges, they don't think the case is within the power of the Constitutional Court. And this commission believes that opinion should not be counted
as for in favor of
as a not guilty, verdict. So this is very important, and that's what a lot of people were trying to say at that time.
So what are the reactions from government, from opposition?
Well, we got the opposition reaction first. Democrat leader Kun Apisit Vechachiva was the first to comment on this. He said that we have to be careful about differentiating who are political prisoners and who are not, because apparently in his view, political prisoners are people who mostly have a different ideology.
Prisoners of conscience.
But people who are not involved at least that much with violence. He said they have to be really careful, and he asked whether at this point of recommendation, the commission was acting out of its own conscience.
Really?
It's quite a big question from Kun Apisit.
What about the government?
We are waiting for the government reaction.
So far it's quiet.
Especially the government of Kun Yingluck will be confronted with the panel proposal for a review of the share concealment.
They will have to react to that.
Have to react to that.
And that would really open up a new can of worms in a way.
Right. This is as the panel said. We can trace everything back to that to that case.
So it's not in favor of anyone, you know. I think the whole
It's a
report.
good, yes.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to know the background and anything, the information about Thai politics, Thai political problem, I recommend reading this report.
How long is the whole report? The full
Very,
report.
very, very long.
Very long.
Very long.
Uh-huh.
It will take you at
So
least
they,
2 hours.
they must have finished this a few weeks ago.
Some of the information were already in the first report. This is the second report.
But it wraps up what they mentioned in the first report too.
Right.
So this is sort of a comprehensive.
Right.
If you read this, you don't have to read the first report,
No,
right?
you don't have all the information on the technicality or the recommendations is in there.
Okay. So if you have any doubt or any ambition
It's on the
to
Nation
understand,
website. I'm sorry. Yeah. If
It's
you want to read, it's on the Nation website.
okay, the whole thing.
Yes, the whole thing.
Okay, I recommend you go to the Nation website, nationmultimedia.com,
Yes.
and get a full story about Thai politics.